everyone, welcome back to my channel Seek Knowledge with Haniya. It's Haniya here. In today's video, we are going to study English from the book New Gems English Reader by Ratna Sagar for class 7th. And chapter for today is A Grain as Big as a Hen's Egg, which is written by Leo Tolstoy. If this video was useful to you, then don't forget to like, comment and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get all the notifications of my videos. So now let's get started. Leo Tolstoy, 1828 to 1910, was a Russian writer who wrote novels, short stories, essays and plays. Tolstoy also wrote about education and the changes necessary to make it available to everyone. Anna Karenina and War and Peace are recognized as Tolstoy's masterpiece and appreciated for their realistic description of life in Russia. Written by Leo Tolstoy in 1886, this parable takes us back to the time when land and what it yielded was free for everyone. Should one live by own labor and be content with it, or I what others produced? So this parable, or you can say this moral story, was written by Leo Tolstoy in 1886, and it just takes us back to the time to know that what people cultivated and land was free for everyone. And we are also asked a question that should one live by one's own labor and be content with it, or I what others produce? So we should live by our own labor and be content with it. One day, some children found in a ravine a thing shaped like a grain of corn, with a groove down in the middle, but as large as a hen's egg. The traveler passing by saw the thing, bought it from the children for a penny, and taking it to the town, sold it to the king as a curiosity. So, one day, some children just found a thing which was shaped like a grain of corn in a valley, and which had a groove in the middle, or you can say a narrow cut in the middle, but it was as large as a hen's egg. And then a traveler passing by saw it, and he bought it from the children for a single penny, and he just took it to the town and sold it to the king as an unusual or interesting object. The king called together his wise men and told them to find out what the thing was. The wise men pondered and could not make head or tail of it, till one day, when the thing was lying on a window sill, a hen flew in and pecked at it till she made a hole in it, and then everyone saw that it was a grain. The wise men went to the king and said, "It is a grain of corn." So now the king just called his wise men, the men who were educated and learned, and he asked them to find out what the thing was. And the wise men just thought and was unable to tell what the thing was, till one day it was kept in the window sill, and then a hen came and just pecked in it until she made a hole in it, and then they all saw that it is a grain. And then he went to the king and told him that, "Sir, it is a grain of corn." The king was surprised and ordered the learned men to find out when and where such corn had grown. The learned men pondered again and searched in their books, but could find nothing about it. So they returned to the king and said, "We can give you no answer. There is nothing about it in our books. You will have to ask the peasants. Perhaps some of them may have heard from their fathers when and where grain grew to such a size." So now the king was surprised after knowing the fact that the thing was a grain of corn, and then he just asked his learned men to know that when and where such corn was grown. But the learned men were unable to find anything in their books, so they came to the king again and said that, "We are unable to give you any answer. You may ask the peasants. They may have heard from their fathers about when and where such big corn was grown." So the king gave orders that a very old peasant should be brought before him, and his servants found such a man and brought him to the king. Old and bent, ashy, pale and toothless, he just managed with the help of 2 crutches to totter into the king's presence. So the king just asked all his servants to look for the oldest man they can find, and they brought a man in front of the king who was old. His back wasn't straight; it was bent. He was, he had a light ash color. He was toothless, and he just used 2 crutches to walk, and he was unable to walk steadily. The king showed him the grain, but the old man could hardly see it. He took it, however, and felt it with his hand. The king questioned him, saying, "Can you tell us, old man, where such grain as this grew. Have you ever bought such corn or sown such in your fields? So the king just gave the old man the grain, and he was unable to see it, but he just felt it by his hand. And then the king asked him that, do you know where such corn was grown, and have you ever bought such corn or sown such in your fields? Then he asked that, have you ever bought or just sown or heard of this type of corn? The old man was so deaf that he could hardly hear what the king said, and only understood with great difficulty. No, he answered at last, I never sowed nor reaped any like it in my fields, nor did I ever buy any such. When we bought corn, the grains were always as small as they are now. But you might ask my father, he may have heard where such grain grew. So the old man was unable to hear what the king said, and he just understood with great difficulty. With a lot of tries, he understood it, and then he answered that, no, I have never, grown this type of corn in my field, and nor I did buy one like this. And we just bought corn and grew them, and they were small as now they are. But you should ask my father about where such corn had grew. So the king sent for the old man's father. He was found and brought before the king. He came walking with one crutch. The king showed him the grain, and the old peasant, who was still able to see, took a good look at it. And the king asked him, can you not tell us, old man, where corn like this used to grow? Have you ever bought any like it or sown any in your fields? So the first man just said to the king that you should ask my father about it. And then his father was brought before the king, and he came walking with one crutch, and he was still able to see and hear nicely. And there was a thing that his son had used two crutches to walk, and he was unable to see or hear, but he was walking with one crutch. He was able to see, and he was able to listen nicely. Then the king just showed him the grain, and he asked him that, can you tell us that where corn like this used to grow? Have you ever bought or grew any in your fields? Though the old man was rather hard of hearing, he could still hear better than his son had done. No, he said, I never sowed nor reaped any grain like this in my field. As to buying, I never bought any. For in my time money was not yet in use. Everyone grew his own corn, and when there was any need, we shared with one another. I don't know where corn like this grew. Our was larger and yielded more flour than present-day grain, but I have never saw any like this. I have, however, heard my father say that in his time the grain grew larger and yielded more flour than ours. You had better ask him. So the old man was able to hear better than his son, and he said, no, I never just grew any like this in my field. And as it comes to the thing of buying, there was no money in our time. Everyone just grew their own corn, and if there was any need, all of them shared it with one another. And he don't know that where corn like this grew. And he also said that ours was larger and yielded more flour than present day grain, but I never saw any like this. So the grain which he used to grow yielded more flour, but it wasn't that much big. And he said that I have heard my father saying that he used to grow grain bigger than now we do, and it will be better if you ask him about it. This video ends here. In the next video, I will share the second part of the story. If this video was useful to you, then don't forget to like, comment and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get all the notifications of my videos. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.